welcome to the bi-weekly meeting podcast for the OWASP Generative AI Security Project. If you'd like to stay up to date with our project, please click subscribe. And if you enjoy the content or have any questions, please feel free to comment and share. Now, on to our meeting.
Well, welcome everyone. Thanks for hopping on. Let me go ahead and get started here, and I'll share the deck and we can get started on our call today. Let's see here. As I say that, I have too many things on my desktop, so just clearing those off real quickly and we'll get going. I want to show this mess. I just want to share the application window. There we go. Just trying to hide my messy desktop. All right. So welcome everyone. This is our bi-monthly core team meeting for the Gen AI Security Project for December 2nd. This will be our last meeting of the year. So I've added some extra slides in here to kind of share a few things. We'll get to that in just a minute. We'll kick off our next call on the in January on the 7th. So you can go ahead and plan your calendars to join us then. So again, welcome everybody. I'm going to throw this into slideshow mode here. And let's do what we do normally for all these sessions. Let's do introductions. Anybody new joining our call today for the first time? Feel free to raise your hand and introduce yourself. All right. Well, it looks like we've got
Scott.
Oh.
Hey, Scott. This is Harish.
Hey.
I was there last time, but I didn't formally introduce myself. So I am Harish Ram Chandran. I work at SAP, based out of the Minnesota location. So I'm relatively new, still trying to follow different threads, different groups, trying to see where I can learn, where I can contribute. And in my role here at SAP, I work on security and compliance topics. So that's kind of what I do. And more specifically, I work in SAP Concur, where we manage all the travel and expenses. So, and I see Ron here from SAP as well. So I got introduced to this group through Ron as well. So, hey, Ron. Hello, everyone.
Now.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and get going? So I thought since we're at the end of the year, I might pull up some stats. It's always good to kind of look and see kind of what we've been working on. The project has been busy. Everybody here has been contributing quite a bit. I think some of you have been consuming that. So it's always fun to kind of look at kind of where we are at the end of the year. This is some preliminary reports that I'll be putting in the state of the project report that I'll put out this probably the end of this week or first thing next week, where we'll kind of summarize kind of the project to date and where we've been and what we've been up to. So I thought as I've been pulling together these numbers, I thought I'd share some of those. So it's kind of difficult sometimes when you are in the weeds to kind of see what the project has been doing. So as we look at both 2024 and into 2025, we can see sort of what we've done as a project. So in 2024, we as a group published 12 different resources for organizations. In 2025, we published 37. We also localized quite a bit. And so we've had a 72% growth in our localization, providing more coverage. We've also now have a broad set of language translations that we've done. And we continue to cover the life cycle. So as we look at the resources that we published, continuing to cover all of the different initiatives. So we have coverage for all of the working groups that are currently going. And we also have been working hard to make sure we're not just doing things that are for practitioners, but we're doing things for developers and for all of the audiences. So just to give people a snapshot of kind of where the project is done, just this last year, which has been a tremendous amount of work by the community, everybody, working really, really hard to kind of make sure they're providing the best practices and best guidance for the community. And thanks to everybody here on this call who's been contributing to that, and everybody who's going to be listening to this on demand. Any questions? So we've also had huge growth on our community. So there's two things that we measure in terms of our part of our growth for the community. First one is around our Slack community, how that is growing. And so we've had a good, strong growth. A lot of the Slack community is our contributors to the work. So we've got over 9,000 members across all of our 14 channels. We've got on just the Project Gen AI channel, we've got a little over 2,000 members listed on that. And one of the big things we've done, obviously, this recognition of the work of the project from 2024 to 2025, we've had almost a 600% increase in our growth on LinkedIn and our followers and our participating in the community. So this is a great testament to the work that everybody's been working on and doing for the project. A couple other things, again, our project engagement. So another thing we like to measure is how engaged is the community in the project. These are just a couple of the metrics that I track. If we looked at some very simple things like our project-led events, in 2024, we had a couple of events that we did and a couple of webinars. So our total number of registrants for those events, this is also our RSA event, which was our major event in 2024. And then some additional events. This year, we kind of blew it out of the water a little bit between the RSA event, the virtual event we hosted, the ASI kickoff, and the events we've had at Black Hat, and are going to have projected to have this next week in London, where we're expecting over 400 people attending. So, or at least registered or over-registered over 400. So our engagement in the community is awesome. People coming to the events, being part of both learning and contributing. And we continue to see another metric we look at as sort of our newsletter subscribers. So we've had a huge jump, as you can see, in 2025 versus 2024. And for those who are in marketing, we've got our click-through rates and our engagement rates on the content that we're publishing is tremendous. Definitely above the industry norm. And so it's great to see that kind of engagement from the community and the work that everybody's doing. Any questions? I'll just do one more slide. The other thing that we're tracking is also our awareness. So part of one of our metrics we look at is awareness for our project. This comes from measuring things such as our website and other pieces of content that we look at. We're also working on tracking derivative works. So mentions we have, I'll have some data that I'll share on that. But you can see, really, again, we're seeing tremendous growth quarter over quarter, year over year, with over 1 million views of the project and the content. So it helps us kind of see what's resonating and what's working for the project as we kind of go forward. This is just a reminder for everybody. We do have things that are coming up on the roadmap. For the core team, I'm looking to get by the end of the year the updated roadmap for everybody. I'll send out a note on that as well for each of the working groups so that we have into not just Q1, but into Q2. So we'll have the first half of 2026 mapped out. And so for those who are new or are getting acquainted, going to the roadmap URL here is a great place to find out what each of the different work groups is working on, to hop into and to contribute or to consume some of the content around that. So core team, look for a note on Slack from me. And again, if you have the old link that we've been using for maintaining the roadmap, please go ahead and update that. Otherwise, I'll resend it a bit later today. Okay, now we're going to transition into our lead reports.
Right. Fantastic.
Agentic Security Initiative. Who's
Right.
that?
That's me, Ron, Rock there. Quite a few people actually from the group. So
Yeah,
I
that's
thought,
great.
Scott, I thought, it's been a while since we gave an update. So I thought I'll give a little bit more extended, just to make sure everyone's up to speed and that synergy we have across the project continues to exist. If you go to the next slide, please. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm glad Ron and Rock are on the call. A year ago, we started this. I remember the first call of a dozen of people, if that. But over the time, we exploded. And we had this conversation of how do we manage this? How do we have transparency and governance? So we adopted, and it's a great thing that we have Scott, the guru of governance. We kind of adopted that model with your support that has a project. And so we are effectively, as an initiative, we have a little initiative that we call workstream. And we also have a core team that manages everything. We haven't actually started in anger that, as I'm sure Rock will say, but we are planning to have a blog announcing all that next week. And as I will say at the end, I would like us to we're planning to have a live first core team discussion. So if you go to the next slide, Scott. Something that people may note about and complements our governance very nicely is that we have what we call the Distinguished Expert Review Board, which is another layer of assistance that helps us to have oversight there, the final level of review. And they're doing a great job. I'm sure you recognize most of the names there. And actually, I had a question for you, Scott. Shall I ask them to provide quotes for the launch? But that's a tactical thing, and I'm sure I can ask you to. But for everyone who's watching this, this is how we do this expert-backed, community-driven. So we have hundreds and hundreds of contributors. How do we make sure that there is a layer of review in addition to the core group? We have those very distinguished people reviewing all the work, providing comments and lively discussion, as I remember during the State of Agentic AI publication. So if you go to the next one, please.
Yeah, real quickly, John, just to answer your question, yes, please do have them use the link if they want to supply a quote, and we'll include them in the quote sheet.
Because they're very excited too. I just kind of saw Chris Hughes on LinkedIn saying, "Oh, when is it coming?" Next slide, please. Right. So the last year, and that's why I think we talked about how big the initiative has become, the immense amount of collaboration and content. So we have released since February when we released the threats and mitigations, all the way to I can't remember the exact month when we did the MCP cheat sheet. We've released quite a few documents that cover the entire life cycle, included governance and the state of the agentic AI. And from your side, Scott, you've released, I didn't include it here, the landscape, the agentic landscape. Yep. So a lot of work has been done. Actually, if you exclude the latest cheat sheet, I've counted the pages. We had something like 270 pages of guidance, and I'll talk about it. But what we have done, and Ron has to take the credit for this, we complemented that with code, where we said, it's very easy to produce content. Can we have some code examples? And Ali, a superstar that handles all things code related and developer related, is helping with that repository where for every thread we describe in threats and mitigations, we have an example across multiple different frameworks. And there have been kind of quite a few successful hackathons that contributed back. And very recently, there was the launch of the Finnbot, which is a CTF platform. And again, that's a work stream within ASA. So quite a lot of work that we have done in the last year. It amazes me how much the community can produce. And the latest was the very useful, very well received. I know Rock started sharing it even in draft mode because people were asking for it. The MCP, how to use securely an MCP. So if you go to the next one slide, please, Scott. So you may ask, why on earth do you need to have an agentic top 10 for all that? Well, for a couple of reasons. One is, I don't know about you, I don't have the time to read 270 pages. So it's a good reference material, something that you can dive in when you need to. You can use it on your notebook LLM to ask questions like I do, and I find it very useful way to use it. But we thought, let's provide the classic compass that the OWASP projects do, which is the top 10. And so we embarked on a journey. We thought it would be a good opportunity to engage with the community, to reconnect with everyone who had contributed initially. We did a kickoff back in, was it in July? I can't remember now. We started
It was
the
in August.
quite successful. And then, yeah, and then we started a public consultation. We have a co-lead there, in addition to me and Ron running this because it's such a key project. We had Karen, who's been fantastic, call it an energizer, we call her. So we talked to several people. We aligned with top 10 for LLMs, the core top 10, the AVSS project, the non-machine identity, and we had some very in-depth reviews of cyber agencies, the distinguished review boards, and also user organizations. We wanted also to see where are they in the journey of adoption, and that resulted into the RC that we have now sent to Scott for
Yep.
publication, and we keep updating it with corrections. So I do apologize. So if you go to the
Yep.
next slide, Scott.
Yeah, and I do have I just got the draft back this morning from layout, so we'll merge your changes. I have that merged into it so we can get that
And
on
all my
schedule out the door as planned.
I promise we won't have any more. Okay, if we go to the next slide then, Scott. So this is a kind of a flash, if you like, of the release content of where we are. We have taken it to the next level of what agentic threats are. So in typical LLM applications, you have prompt injection. Now you have very multi-step, very targeted kind of attacks that hijack the goal, not just the response. And if you take all the other entries, you will find that that's exactly what we're trying to do. The reinterpretation of what a kind of generative AI security means for this goal-driven, multi-step, agentic, and sometimes multi-agentic. It's about 45 the draft. We're creating cheat sheets like this. Big thanks to Evgeny, one of our core team members, and Eva that worked on this. And if you go to the next one, please, Scott. And also in the same people with the community, a very nice diagram there that explains where those systemic, I would say, risks and threats happen either in input, and actually that's out of, I do apologize, I'm using an old one. We have updated it, but that's just to kind of give you, so if you're watching this on video, please look at the document. There is a more up-to-date that has kind of better alignment. This isn't completely inaccurate, it's just the other one is fine-tuned and nicer. So the next one, please. The previews have been fantastic. I cannot name the reviewer, but it was from a national cyber agency. And I think when you get feedback like this, that's a phenomenal document, and we can't wait to later on it says we cannot wait to see it. You know you've done a good job. We had fantastic insights, not just praising. The people told us, why are you doing this? Can you rename? Initially, we said hijacking behavior. They said, well, it isn't actually the behavior; it's the goal. So very good conversations. So we had both the community within the group contributing comments, and then that targeted review with all the organizations. So a large-scale consultation, and we thought that was actually a fantastic part of the top 10, not just to summarize things and provide that compass, but re-energize the community and the links that we have. And I want to continue that. If you can go to the next one, Scott, please. Ooh, do you want to talk about that? Because you're kind of spearheading this.
Yeah, no, I believe we can tag team on it. So you can cover off on some of the points on the agenda. How's that?
The enthusiasm I have will probably won't say anything kind of sensible. So why don't you start?
Yeah, so this is what we have scheduled for next week. We're going to be, we've been working on getting it as part of our initiative for the overall project. We want to spend more time outside of the US. And this was one of our first steps is we're starting to do more outside of the US. So we're doing our AI security summit in Europe, in London, and we're going to be kicking that off next week on the 10th. And as part of that, we'll also be launching the top 10 for Agentic. And so John, do you want to talk about the agenda that we
Yes.
put together for this?
If you go, and as I'm sure you've been telling people, we have so many people with overcapacity and they keep kind of applying. So we're now watching who's applying and make sure everyone is representative. Why don't you move to the next slide, please, Scott?
Sure. Let me talk about one thing then, because you're
Oh, sorry,
talking
yes.
about we're our registrations. We had the room booked for we thought maybe 300 people. We have well over 400 now registered. We are also going to offer this as a live stream. So for those people, if we run out of space, we'll have it live streamed so people can participate, and maybe they can join us if they're on site. Maybe they can join us for the happy hour that's going to be afterwards. Still to have an opportunity to network with people, but we'll be able to do that in a more a little looser form. We'll be able to stand up. So those are a couple things. So look for a communication is going to go out today about a reminder about this and also about some of the live stream opportunities. So if you can't be in London, that's okay. You can get up early or get up late, depending upon where you are, and join the festivities online.
Scott, yeah, that's an excellent point. Thank you. With my over enthusiasm, I've forgotten the live streaming. And that's very
Yep.
important. And also, there will be some ad hoc for those in London. There will be some ad hoc activities with lunches, tea, coffee, just a vibrant kind of celebration of the community and the fact that it's kind of hosted in London. It's exciting everyone. So if we go to the next one, please, Scott. And we thought, this is quite a lot in there, but it represents the richness of the event. We want to celebrate both the respect our project has in Europe, and you can see that from the sessions and the quality of the panelists that we have there. I'll walk you through in a minute. But also we wanted to see agentic security in the top 10 in context, not just a flat list of top 10 threats and vulnerabilities, but how does it fit in the context of red teaming, of regulation, of research, of practical implementation. So we're starting with the welcome, myself, Scott, Karen that I mentioned, and also the board, the global board member and OWASP London chapter lead. We thought it would be important to have the community there. We're talking about the top 10, we're launching it. I don't know how you're going to coordinate that with the press release and the release of the documents, Scott, but that will be interesting.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Exactly. And then we have the leads, those who can attend to do some lighting insights because they have been the heart of this top 10. They have driven that work. So it'll be great to have them there, provide those lighting insights. So we have a break then. And then we have, I'm chairing a regulation. It's very UK, very European, and you can see the pedigree of panelists there from UK government and standards, from banking, from the regulator, and also, our very own superstar, Rock Lambros there, part of that, discussing a little bit, what are the kind of the European and the UK nuances in regulation and compliance, and how does it fit within the global sphere, and how does agentic affects that? And then we're going into another interesting one, laser, for those who perhaps are not familiar with the UK scene. In addition to various academic research, we have very strong UK government backing. So there is the UK government-owned labs for AI security research, laser, and we will have people from that institute. We'll have from participants from Queen University, which is also part of laser, another branch of government-funded research, the Alan Turing Institute. They will be discussing of where is research going, and some of the things as we talk about the top 10, the agentic top 10, some of the mitigations. Are there any research opportunities that people can innovate, and how do we carry on working together? So exciting again. And then red teaming. our very own Rachel James will be there. Then we have the head of the principal researcher from red teaming from Microsoft, Matt Hopkins, who is principal at the very big AI-driven defense company Kinetic. And then to finish that, we have someone from AWS taking us through of how they will use the top 10, the agentic top 10, to implement a solution. And then, of course, Sam will talk about how the community works together, and we'll say thank you and close. And as Scott, you said, there is a happy hour, and then I'm threatening people to take them out in London and show them around if they still have energy. So that's the agenda, and I hope I didn't kind of go into too many details, but you can see the breadth of the kind of the content of the event that we have. If you
That's
go to the next
perfect.
one, please. I promise there are only a few slides left. Actually, that's the last one. So that doesn't mean just because we released the top 10, and Scott, we owe you an update, but we don't have it yet. So that's why I don't have the roadmap. We already agreed to have an adoption challenge, and Karen is working on that kind of how do we incentivize people to accept that challenge and implement that top 10, and then talk about that in RSA, or even earlier. I was talking to a Polish bank this morning. They said, yes, of course, we want to do that. I was talking to the financial regulator here in the UK, said, of course, we want to do that. So there is appetite for that. And it would be great to see that forward-looking thinking that we have with OWASP tied into actual life implementation and then update. We already have people working, the WASPs that we are, in OWASP, the MCP servers securely, how to build them, and agentic browsers, which I didn't know was such a popular topic yesterday kind of the day before. People were talking about that, quite excited. We need to update all the other documents that we did so that they tie up with the agentic top 10, and also support the project's forthcoming top 10 for LLMs. I would like to have a core team session on Tuesday here where we kind of record it, share it, and the topic will be there, let's kickstart the roadmap, but let's sit back a little bit and say, hey, how can we stop this? How can we help our audience beyond reams of text and address a little bit the guidance fatigue? And it's been interesting because everyone on the core team, and I hear to you, they're extremely creative. They have demonstrated that. And I can see Helen, I've forgotten to mention that we are also releasing the updated threats and mitigations with the top 10.
Yes.
So with that omission, I'll come back to this slide. So it's a milestone for us. It's been a year that people have produced top quality work. Let's do that. Let's kind of listen to the community and the users, and then let's have a conversation of what's next for AC and how do we become an integral part of the project. So it isn't just AC, but how do we connect with Sandy's work and Rock's work on ODA? How do we connect those things together so that we're becoming a project rather than just a series of initiatives? And that's my update for today. I hope I did it justice for those from AC on the call.
Thanks, John, for giving an update here. That's great. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we've been rolling on. And I'll add just one more thing on the adoption side. As you know, when we shared in Las Vegas, we already had a lot of the solution providers already adopting what was the original threats and mitigations taxonomy. And so we're going to also continue that forward with a little bit more formal program for verification. So it's going to be a self-verification program to kind of help organizations looking to address these, the top 10 for Agentic, understand what types of tools and solutions they've implemented or incorporated it in their products so that they can be able to help in that process. And that's open source projects and commercial projects and tools, etc. Joe. So look for additional information coming out next week on that as well. So next week will be Agentic.
One thing I've forgotten to say to close our update is a massive, massive, massive thank you to the core team of AC, to the community. They're just unbelievable.
Yeah, I second that. Your team has been tremendous in pulling everything together and all the work. It's just getting started, though, it seems. All right. Let's see. Going on to the next slides. Oh, that's okay.
I'm here, Scott.
Okay, great. Manuel.
Good morning, everyone. Just hello again. I'm back. It's been a while. I don't attend the calls. Just day job is taking quite a bit of me. So me and Scott, we've been working on the background, and we are revamping the Data Security Initiative, and there was quite a lot of work being done for the AC team. Just I heard that. Just kudos for all the team. Amazing work there. And from a data security standpoint, we just want to try to see things from a different perspective. So me and Scott, we wrote a draft, and we created a form with some questions, and we defined some data risks that pertain Gen AI applications and also agentic systems. So we're trying to also expand on that in terms of data and mitigations of that data risks that we have identified. So please join our channel there. And then we will be working on that document. And from our roadmap standpoint, we're going to be launching today, and maybe we will publish this March next year. And just to complement that document, we will also have an implementer best practice version 2 of what we've done last year. So yeah, so please help us spread the word and join the channel and help us out. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Emmanuel. Yeah, I think that we saw from our download history that the original data security guide has been a really popular download, but it's been also a download that's been in need of refresh. And so I think part of the goal was to split it to make it more consumable. And also, so that takes us toward this new direction with the 2.0 version of it. That manual got this started for coming forward. So, John, I saw you raised your hand. You're muted.
I was just clapping in enthusiasm. No, carry on.
Okay, clapping enthusiasm. All right. So this will be getting going very shortly, and anybody who would like to contribute to this, please join Manuel and myself in helping to kind of move this forward to the 2.0 version of our data security guidance. Okay.
Right.
Red teaming is it?
Hello.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm so good.
Awesome.
We've had tons and tons of work. So quick status is we are still on track for Q1 delivery of a draft handbook. I don't know that anybody's really seen the handbook in a while. We've been having some issues where people would join and then basically slurp all the content and then never contribute anything. So we kind of closed down contributing to the handbook. So now if you want to contribute, you have to ping either Sonu or myself and we will add you. And if you haven't contributed in like some period of time, we haven't really clearly defined it. But if you aren't really contributing, then we remove you from access for now. Don't know if that's what we want to do. I don't know if that's a good solution or not. It's definitely different than how we've handled it with other projects, but
yeah,
it became a real problem with this.
I mean, if people are not contributing or just taking it and using it elsewhere without really contributing before it's even out the door, that's kind of a difficult thing to manage. So I think it makes sense to control some of the access, because our goal is to make sure that we can get things published, get them done in an effective fashion that has peer review. And so people are picking stuff up that hasn't been peer reviewed yet and trying to publish it themselves. That's a little bit counter to the spirit of the community and spirit of what we're trying to do as a project. So
Yeah,
I think finding ways to manage that, I think as you have, sounds like a practical way to do it.
cool. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we were aligned on that. And like, we still want to be open, and we are open. Anybody that pings us, we add them. So it is still open, but just so people are aware, it is closed to invite only currently, the handbook, and reach out and we'll add you happily. So if you want to be added to that, but I can I share screen real quick?
Oh, I think, yeah, I just have to give permissions. I think if you ask, it'll let me.
It looks like I have permission.
Okay, cool. I don't remember how this particular Zoom is set up, whether it's a request or not.
Nope, actually I don't. Never mind. It says it's not allowing multiple presenters sharing. Oh, maybe you just need to stop sharing.
Let me stop sharing. Hold on.
Yeah, that worked. Let's do this one. Sure. So just to give people a quick look, though, we have a ton of content in here right now. We've divided it up into a bunch of different phases, starting with like stakeholder interviews. So we're going through the whole process. One of the things that sets us apart from the Agentic testing guide that came out, they've mapped back to the Google SFAI, which I think is really useful, and they've got a really well-documented methodology, but they still don't have really clear examples of like, how do I prepare? Who do my stakeholders need to be? How do I interview them? What are like, how do I actually use these tools, right? They give a lot of good examples and a lot of like, these are the types of prompt injections, but they still don't have a lot of the, how do I actually apply this to this system that's in front of me? And that's the gap that this handbook is trying to address. So we work well with that handbook. Our goal is to reference it in a bunch of other stuff that we do. But that's what sets us apart, is this is actual real world, how do I do this stuff? Not just here's what a whatever type of prompt injection looks like. Here's what do anything now looks like, right? This will be, if you want to use it, do anything now, here's how you could apply it to an agent with a specific concrete example of that. So we've got that. Go talk about different frameworks, operational support, and then what kind of information do you need to be able to access the environment? A lot of the red teaming guides out there assume it's just an inference endpoint, and they're just like, yeah, just go hit the model, and that's not all you need when you test agentic solutions, as we all know. So we talk about some of those additional complexities that come in, and then we've got a whole lot of threat model diagramming stuff. Fingerprint and recon stuff. This is pretty useful. Nobody's talking about this right now. Refusal patterns and how you can use how models refuse things to kind of guess what kind of model you're dealing with. So I think there's a lot of additional content here that we're going to really add value, even though there's other documents that have how do I red team methodology type stuff in it. One of the things that I want to bring to the larger group is we do have a whole bunch of stuff in here around like, what does a surface map look like? What does threat modeling look like? One of our contributors made all of these. And some of these probably will be useful diagrams for other initiatives as well. So really good content here. And I think maybe that's one of the things that I didn't put in to the challenge, but TLDR, we've got a lot of content here. We've made a lot of progress. I'll let you share back out the slides, Scott.
Yeah, that's tremendous. That progress.
Yeah, we're really happy with where things are going. We're on track. I think we've got the repository out there. One of our contributors, Felipe, has been doing an amazing job. He's put some directory structure out there. He's already contributed a bunch of sample code. He's built up a bunch of sandbox environments. He is creating a thing called Agent Zero, which we're going to provide guidance in the document of like, how do I actually do a test against an agent? You'll be able to take all of the techniques that we talk about in the document, spin up this Agent Zero, and then use the tooling that we provide in that repository to go actually do this testing yourself. So we're giving people like a whole self-contained thing. Already reached out to John because I think that partners nicely with some of the other malicious agent examples. So I think there's some opportunity there. Where our challenges are is we still have we have a large group of contributors, but few of them are actually doing red teaming of AI stuff day to day. We've had last week we talked about this, or last meeting we talked about this, and we had several people join that are doing it, and they've been contributing a bunch. But I still like that's still a weak spot. We could probably shore up a little bit with that. We also just need, even if you don't want to add like tool examples or how do I do this, even just technical reviewers to go through and be like, where are we missing? What content are we missing? Would be really useful. And then the other challenge that we're trying to figure out, and this is a challenge all of us face with everything, both in this project and outside, is it's such a rapidly evolving space. How do we keep up? Like MCP protocol gets new features every 2 months or whatever, right? So obviously we're not going to update this handbook that frequently. How do we keep up with new attack types as they get released? I don't know that I have a solid solution for that, but one way that we're hoping to do that is through the GitHub repo, whether we create some documentation in there or a wiki or something, and then reference it from the handbook, and then people can go there to get addendums, I guess, for lack of a better word. I don't know if we have a better solution for that. I feel like this is a challenge all of us have, so maybe we should come to a consistent way to handle this type of problem. But that's what we're thinking right now is one way we could handle it.
Yeah, I don't know if it gets any better with some of the changes that we've been making to the our when we restructure our GitHub. So I don't know if that can help us doing that.
Initiative
'Cause as
specific wikis would be nice.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
one really
what we're
nice way to
moving
do it.
toward, yeah, so what we're moving toward right now is that today we're sort of a project underneath the OWASP project, but because we have projects within the project, we're actually going to move to a top level GitHub. So what that will mean that each initiative will have their own project area, wiki, etc. And so that'll get us out of kind of this in-between place we are right now and give us some of the tools that we need. And so we do have that domain is that GitHub is up right now. Ads is working on a migration plan to kind of migrate what we have over there. So I would, Jason, go ping ads to see where he is on that. And hopefully I was expecting a plan for rollout the next, week or so. Now that we've got some of the operation stuff cleared up on the back end. So reach out to him. Hopefully we'll have some more updates, but that could, hopefully that will help solve some of these issues by giving each area their own wiki and that you guys can manage directly, etc.
Nice. That'll be awesome. Ron, I see your question in the chat about autonomous pen tests and red teaming agents. It's definitely on my radar. I haven't thought about it in the context of this project specifically. I feel like that could be a really easy document to put together, even if it's just something like, I'm looking at all these vendors that want to pitch me their autonomous red teaming stuff. What should my criteria be for evaluating them? That could be a really easy win for a
Got a
document.
couple of folks on the AI exploit research initiative that are playing with some of these tools. So if you guys decide to pull that thread, let us know because we got a couple of smart cookies. We've been playing with them for a while that I think could be helpful.
Nice. Yeah. I'm also, this is one of my things that I'm doing at work right now is doing a bunch of these evaluations. So I think Rachel, you and I should probably talk at some point because I feel like there's a whole lot of collaboration that
Yeah.
initiative
Yeah,
and
yeah,
ours
I
could be doing.
Yeah, I actually just sent you a DM on Slack because I have a similar thought, and I actively do red teaming of Gen AI and agents at my job. So I sent you a message, but yeah, we should connect for sure.
Perfect.
Likewise, guys, kind of just finished one and starting another one. And also something to circulate here as an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we have our own chatbot that consolidates all
Yeah,
those
I think,
documents.
yeah, and also I think at like maybe at this stage, even at a minimum, a position paper coming from the Red Team Initiative, right? On what's going on with this autonomous red teaming and pen testing agents all over LinkedIn. And there's an influx, right? So I think
Yeah.
that should be a good one, Jason and Rachel.
and happy to
Yeah,
support you guys.
it dovetails really nicely with one of my current projects at work. So I feel like I can just
Nice.
kill two birds with one stone.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, and on the tool listing side, I'll reshare the link out to folks too, since you've got people who are playing with tools, so that we can include them in the red teaming kind of solution lens we're doing. So I'll send that out around again as well. So we can collect that insight you guys are getting from working with those specifically.
Nice.
Cool.
I think that's
Any
it
other?
for me.
Okay. Awesome. Translations.
Hey, I'm actually on the call today.
Hey,
good to
we took
good to
long
see you.
enough. I know you said you're going to be running a little late, so I'm glad we ate up enough time that it worked out for you.
All good. I do apologize for missing months of calls. It's been very difficult with illness and whatnot. Um, but yeah, couple updates. I've combined Wave 3 and Wave 4 into two. Pretty much all the translations are done. Final generations we're doing this week. Couple things as we're closing out this year. We've had a lot of struggles when it comes to automation and generating PDFs and whatnot. And one thing I've learned is that when we're dealing with what we're looking at 20 languages,
Yeah.
automation is key because there is so much that we do manually that it just scales, and you need to do something for 20 minutes, multiply by 20 languages, you're looking at like half a day, which nobody has time to commit to. So I have some time off over the holidays. I'm going to start focusing on building out a lot more automation. Cloud Code has been very helpful in helping me achieve some of that. And my goal is starting early 2026 after the Christmas holidays, to be able to have automations ready for not only the management of languages, but also for translators, because we've been struggling with people who are excellent at translating, but are struggling working within the GitHub framework and the Git framework. So hopefully something we also, as John mentions in the chat, we also port to the ASI pretty smoothly, given the fact that we're matching very similarly to Markdown documents. That's pretty much the only big update on that. As I said, I've been kind of missing action, but back on for now.
That's I'm glad you're doing well and able to rejoin us here. We obviously have as I shared earlier, we got a lot of translations that have come out, which have been tremendous. That you've been kind of leading, getting everybody to kind of do that. That's been great. It just helps us obviously as we try to be as global as we can, giving that accessibility to people to this research, and guidance is critical. So thank you again for working so hard on that task and helping to marshal the team on that.
Hey everyone. So just a few updates from the CTI initiative. So we've decided this is new, we've started to decide doing monthly all initiative meetings. So if you have any interest in our work streams talking about the use and abuse of Gen AI by threat actors, please join us on the first Friday of every month, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, not PM, 8 a.m. Pacific. We may adjust that time just to ensure availability. But kind of topics that we want to talk about this Friday is we're thinking about ways to perhaps revamp the charter, and this is just because of our deliverables stream has actually not been particularly about CTI, rather kind of narrowly. Our kind of large release this year was the AI incident response guide. We have a deepfake guide revision upcoming shortly. And then our kind of main deliverable around CTI was actually the presentation that we did earlier this year. So we have some questions. How do we rescope this in order to capture a better audience for our deliverables, et cetera? So we're going to have a little bit of discussion about that. And then Scott will bring that to the core team after that chat. We'll do kind of a news roundup, what's new in the use and abuse of Gen AI by threat actors. And then AC has reached out in terms of collaboration. I think a lot of fruitful things, particularly around releasing a half point update for the incident response guide that better addresses agents, which is a known gap. In terms of ongoing projects, exploit research is ongoing. That kind of was delayed a bit just because of life getting in the way of our volunteers. And then our deepfake guide, we're anticipating a new revision by the end of December. I have to check out the current draft and approve it, and we can release it for further review. But yeah, that's it. And again, if you want to learn anything more about this, please do join us. You can find information for joining the meeting in our channel, which is team stroke, Gen AI stroke CTI, which you can see at the top of the slide. But unless there are any questions, that's it. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks for the update. Any questions for anyone? Awesome. All right, so now it's just open discussion. So are there any topics we didn't cover? Any questions people have that we want to talk about during this open conversation time? Okay.
Scott, I know
So
you mentioned you wanted to share about upcoming workstream.
Yes. Yeah. So I think, yeah. Oh, Helen, great. You're here. So one thing we talked about was sharing about the AI BOM project, which has now been approved by the core team. And I know, Helen, we're working on getting that formally out and launched. So if you want to take a few minutes to talk about that initiative and how people can get engaged right now to help support you, that would be great, and the team.
Thanks,
or if you have other
thanks,
things
Scott.
you want to add, feel free to do that as well.
Yeah, thank you, Scott, for also doing a lot of work in the background, pushing this forward. As part of this project, the main goal is to create a practical ways of community to understand the components of AI systems and to create transparency to them and address the risks and vulnerabilities that we have across the systems. It comes from the SBOM software bill of materials, and AI BOM is an extension of that. So as part of this work stream, we have a tool contribution that we will announce and release soon in December that is already available for everyone to use. I can paste a link in the chat. You can try it today. And as part of this work stream, we're going to continuously improve the tool by adding various capabilities and transparency metrics like completeness of the artifacts that we're generating about our AI systems, as well as a handbook that will go hand in hand with the tool, helping community to use and automate that. And by the way, this tool also provides APIs for automation. So looking forward to starting this workstream at OWASP Gen AI. The aim is to start on December 15th, right after the Black Hat. And we're continuing into RSA milestone to achieve the next deliverable for the tool and the handbook.
That's awesome. Yeah, and for those people who are wondering, because I've had some people ask me about like the Cyclone DX and other SBOM activities at OWASP, the teams are collaborating on this, so we're not working in silos. So I think that's important for us as an overall OWASP community that we're kind of working across. So I just wanted to highlight that in case anybody had questions about that. So I think that's
absolutely important. Yeah, thank you. That's one of the main aspects that we're not doing in silo. This is based on existing work that I've been driving for a few years in the community already around SBOM. We're working closely, and I have close relationship with Cyclone DX and the SPDX formats to make sure that we're in alignment and we generate those standards in industry standards, artifacts in industry standards. So all those stakeholders are also invited, as well as all of you. Yeah, so stay tuned. I already have Slack channel for this, but we will be announcing with further details how to join.
Awesome. Thank you, Helen. Anyone else have anything else to share? Or any questions? Okay. Well, again, I want to just recognize the community, everybody, all the work that everybody's been doing over this last year to really put a lot of the cool tools and key resources out there for the industry to kind of help address the AI security spaces. So we will wrap up this call as our last call for December. We will see you on January 7th. Enjoy the holidays, everybody. For those who will be in London, we'll see you there. And for those who are in Slack, well, we'll see you there too. So have a good one and take care, everyone.
Happy
Bye,
holidays.
Happy
everyone.
holidays, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you later.